Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're gonna start by putting together our core data model first. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So under resources, we're gonna right click and create a new file. And we're gonna look for core data or data model. And basically there's only one entry that should show up under core data. You should see a data model. What we're going to do is we're going to click next, and this model is going to pop up basically asking what is the name you want to give your core data model, XC data model LD file. Okay, XC data model LD is an extension for the core data model, and again this file is going to contain all your entities, your attributes, in other words your table columns, its relationships and stuff like that. Okay, so when you create your Xcode project and create core data along with it, what Xcode does is to make it convenient, or to make it easy for them to predict what the name should be, they name this as the same name of the project. Now you can change that name, and when creating your core data manager, essentially initializing your persistence container, you can actually tell Xcode what is the name of the file that you want to initialize. So we're going to change the name of this, and we're going to name this file tasks. Okay, so we're going to simply say the file itself is going to be called tasks. Okay, and let's go ahead and create this. Now as soon as you create the XC data model LD file, you're gonna land on this editor. Now this editor basically has a few things that are going on. For example, you can add your entity. There is no entity right now. You can add a new entity. Okay, entities are basically your tables. Now once your entities are added, you can add attributes to the entities, and those attributes are basically table names. So let's go ahead and start by creating an entity, and as soon as we click on this add entity button, an entity is added, and just double click on that to basically rename the file, and we're gonna rename the entity as task. Okay, and not tasks, just task, because it represents a single row of record within the entity. So this is the name of your table. Now your table has basically columns, and columns have types. Similarly, on core data side, you have your attribute names and their types. So let's go ahead and start creating some attributes. We're going to start with name. So name is going to be basically a string type. All right, and this is basically going to be the name of our task. All right, next one is going to be an ID to be able to uniquely identify the record, and this is going to be UUID type. Then after that, we're going to create one entry for due on, and this column is going to be of type date. So we're going to store date. When is the task due? That's what this is going to contain. Then we're going to basically create another one called completed on, and this is going to be a date type as well. So as soon as the task is marked done, we want to actually store the date on which it was completed, and we're going to store that under completed on attribute name. Okay, and this is going to be a date type. Last but not the least, we need a flag that is going to show whether the task is completed or not. Okay, and this type is going to be a Boolean type. Now once we have created this core data model and try to build the app, everything should build just fine. And if you go under to-do list view controller, and just for trial, I'm gonna import core data, and under the view did load, we're gonna say task, and we should see basically a task being created. Now this task is exactly the same task that you created just now inside your core data, and this task basically is now your data model, okay, or your model for your app. Okay, so this task is going to have basically all the attributes that you have defined: ID, completed, completed on, due on, and name, basically the same columns and or attributes that you added under that table or under that entity. Okay, so with that, our core data model is created, and our basically model essentially is created. So next step is to go ahead and start creating our view model, so we can basically start using that view model along with a list view model with the view controller. Okay, so in the next video we're going to be creating our to-do list view view model, okay, or task view model. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.